Good afternoon. I'm Richard Reynnells. The devotional for today is respect. The reference for these comments is 1 Peter 2:17. Proper respect for everyone. Love the brotherhood of believers, fear God, honor the King. Respect for authority and an objective assessment and reporting of the truth is often sacrificed by some for personal or organizational agendas, using past abuses to justify their current absence of respect for other people. Various wrongs are used to justify our current lack of respect for others, which destroy our capacity to improve society. Positive change can be accomplished by respecting God's truths, not by focusing on secular agendas. Look at the world around us. It appears that society is crumbling in our country and world. We see a tiny fraction of police officers in this country who may abuse persons of all races under their control. And the mainstream media may promote an agenda by ignoring or not providing the full story of a negative event or a positive event. Abuse of others, especially that leading to death, is so clearly wrong it is not debatable from a religious or even secular point of view. Abuse of any kind does not approach godly respect for others, nor does abuse of truth. Organizations having an agenda to modify our country in their image use errors by authorities to convert legal and important peaceful protests to riots, and demand not funding police departments. Police officers at the center of the current disaster are a very small minority of the brave people who each day risk their lives for the rest of us. The city police officer who killed a handcuffed prisoner while his fellow officers looked on and did not intervene instigated peaceful protests that were elevated to violence in many cities, and it continues today. In fairness, one of the officer's colleagues was a rookie, only on the job a few days, and asked if they should stop using the chokehold. These multiple organized riots co-opted peaceful protests of the heinous act, killed many people of all races, and resulted in looting and destruction of property impacting people of all races. Little is said about that loss of life or property, but some politicians say that destruction of replaceable property is not really violence. I do not follow that logic, which could change if it was the politician's property that was destroyed. Respect for others and peaceful protest is obvious. The goal is corrective action. Absence of respect is likewise obvious in riots. To me, God is present in demonstrations of many types that attempt to respectfully improve a situation. Decision makers must likewise honor attempts at peaceful change that enhance respect for all people. Riots abuse people of all races, except those benefiting from the chaos, acts of violence, and destruction that dishonor God. But they honor Satan. And the pandemic continues, undoubtedly being exacerbated by the riots. Riots show no respect for police officers trying to protect people and property. Some officers were targeted for death, such as by Molotov cocktails. Other attempts were made to blind officers using lasers. Would supporters of riots have the courage to be a police officer or a soldier? Were the instigators of the riots? I doubt it. The only thing that riots respect is the social agendas of those who facilitate these events. Riots benefit those who prefer the destruction of our society, rather than making positive improvements. Some condone riots and social anarchy based on the errors of a very few police officers, but is a perversion of the concept of civilized society. And in no way does this respect God or his teachings or expectations, but highly respects Satan and his deceit. Respect is a manifestation of love of neighbors as God expects from each of us. For example, Romans 13:9 and 10, summarized as, the commandments are summed up in this word: love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no wrong to a neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law. To justify and participate in riots to solve problems is directly opposed to God's teachings regarding respect and love. God does not look at our skin color or gender when evaluating our lives. He looks at our heart and our commitment to him and his expectations. We are not to judge others, but to discern right from wrong and choose to live as God demands. How can we help people understand racism and other isms is simply wrong, since it is against God's teachings? How can we help people understand participating in the creation of chaos, killings, and terror via riots is not respect and love, which is what God wants from us? How can each of us help our country heal? God be with you.